Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Friday, May 17, 2024, pre-market report. Let me just start off with this. This is not some kind of fairy tale market we are in. This is a nightmare. This word fairy tale has been thrown around over the last couple of days by the mainstream media. Of course, they're getting the same script, as usual. And you gotta laugh. I mean, here's the situation. Dow 40,000. Dow 40,000. Oh, wow. It's some kind of miracle. Look at this guy with his hat on, laughing. This is going to end in tears. There's no doubt about it. Let me explain something to you in case you don't know. I mean, and I can prove what I'm about to say, but this is a situation where we've been here before. Every single time the market gets way ahead of itself like this and we end up crashing on an epic scale, you get the same thing. The euphoria, the fear of missing out, the absolute disconnect from any kind of reality. It's kind of interesting. So here's a headline from Reuters that you might appreciate. Global equity funds draw inflows on rate cut hopes, or easy money, Fed put, and soft U.S. economic data. How about the economic data could not possibly be worse? And all they're going to do, think about this. In times of a real booming or an expanding economy, you would expect to see the Federal Reserve increase the monetary base. Well, they're increasing the monetary base drastically, $418 billion since February, with an economy that is cratering. Why isn't anybody else paying attention to this besides you and I? Again, it's the mechanism here. Easy money, hyper debt beyond anyone's wildest dreams, and then you got imbeciles like this guy. You know, look at this guy. He's orgasmic over Dow 40,000. I mean, are people fixated with numerology or something? What is it with these numbers here? Especially when they have no connection to reality whatsoever. And again, the fairy tale, and I love how they use these words, the fairy tale stock market. Well, you know, you and I called this already from last year. Way before that, the faster the economy craters, the higher the market is going to go. And I'm not saying that people should not be in this market. If we understand that things like this are going on here, with, you know, inflows into the stock market, just as it's designed to do, the Fed is out here blatantly buying epic amounts of debt. China, what did we just find out yesterday, is dumping record amounts of U.S. debt. Who's buying it? Who's buying it? There has to be a buyer. If there's a seller, there's a buyer. The Fed's buying it all. That's massively currency negative as well. But that's the situation. It's like a negative feedback loop on a massive scale. Here's another headline I want you to look at from today. An AI-fueled equity bubble will see big tech lead the charge in coming months. I believe this is true. Okay, but they're admitting here that this is a bubble, and all bubbles end in a nightmare scenario on a grand scale. So look, again, going back to how this channel is about opportunity, always. If we understand all this stuff, and we've been so far ahead of the curve on this, it's unbelievable. We know what to do. We're never, ever going to lay down before the freaks that want to destroy us all. What we're going to do is turn the tables on them like we've been doing. Okay? We're going to stay along this market here. You know my positions here. I have a lot of JEPI. I'm building up a JEPQ, which will feed right into this. I already have a pretty substantial position in JEPQ right now. We're also betting against the debt, becoming our own central bank. So you're watching the futures this morning, higher across the board. Looks like, at least if things don't change, the Dow will open above 40,000. You got gold and silver catching a bid, crude oil catching a bid, Bitcoin, cryptos catching a bid. This is all about epic debt. That's all this is. It's not a fairy tale. It's a nightmare, as you and I have discussed for the longest time. The distortions that already exist in this market. I'm not just talking about the stock market here. There is no connection to reality with regard to the price action today of a single asset. When you have this kind of a mechanism, artificially suppressed rates, the Fed buying all the debt here, Obviously, this is a mechanism to push cash into the stock market to maintain the illusion. It's an illusion like everything else. It's a fairy tale illusion that the economy is strong. Even though the mainstream media admits the data is soft, okay, meaning it's abysmal, people don't get it. They look at the stock market, they look at their 401k plans, their investment plans, and they think everything is just great until it's not. And then they weep and then they cry. What happened? No one told me this. Are you kidding me? It's always the same story, going back as far as you want to go. But you see, you and me, if we realize that the distortions with regard to price action across the board, meaning we have obviously massive upside bubbles, and I'm referring to the stock market beyond anyone's wildest dreams, real estate. And then that means that there are inverse bubbles because cash has to come out of certain things and go into places where it shouldn't go. The inverse bubble here that we are in is clearly commodities across the board, none more so than physical, in my opinion. Second would come gold, and platinum, palladium running an equal third, okay? So this just, again, lets us understand how we can beat the system by turning those tables, people. It's that simple. It's all about opportunity. It's about understanding clearly. And, we have a lot of history to go by here. We know for a fact that cash moves through these markets in predictable patterns. Risk on, meaning cash being pushed into risk assets like the stock market, presents opportunity for us to get long the market, stay long the market right now. And that's where we need to be. Take advantage of the FOMO. Take advantage of the numerologists out here, especially this guy. I just can't get over this guy's face with his hat on. Look at this guy. I mean, come on, man, really. This is the same kind of guy who's going to be crying outside the steps of the New York Stock Exchange wondering what happened because he thinks this is real. This is not real. This is all artificially engineered by central banks. In this case, the Fed is buying it all. They're buying it all because that's their goal. Don't take my word for anything, people. I urge you, honestly, to do a little bit of your own research. Read The Creature from Jekyll Island. Central banks since day one had one goal, and one goal only, to be the lender and buyer of last resort one day, to own it all, to create a slave system, a slave to debt. It should make sense to you why we're seeing what we're seeing now. Credit card defaults, personal loan defaults, loan defaults across the board rising. Banks' balance sheets being loaded up right now with bad debt. The smaller institutions in more trouble than you can imagine. I'm telling you again, we're going to see waves of failures moving forward, a domino effect. But again, not until 2025. The illusion of the market will be maintained through the presidential selection, okay? And then after that, it's a whole new ball game, okay? But you and I, are going to be on the cutting edge of that. And we're going to not let anything get by us, period, the end. I will never let you down. I've told you that a million times. We don't let each other down. We got each other's backs. And that is our strength here, people. So in the grand scheme of things, good. Let them have their orgasms over Dow 40,000 with no connection to reality. Let them admit that there are bubbles in the market because they're going to grow. Let them tell us how we're going to have capital inflows, cash moving into the stock market here on soft economic data. And what they're trying to tell you is the economy is creating. But you see, they can't tell you that because we're being lied to on a network scale. We're the envy of the world. You remember Bidenstein creature, mummy man thing, vomitous mass? Our economy here is the envy of the world. No, we're the laughing stock of the world here. And I'll tell you something. Look, this is not obviously an issue with just the United States. This is a global phenomenon. It's central banks destroying the economy, taking down an entire class of people with it, only to issue in a new system here, make people beg on their knees for a solution. They're creating the problem, reaction, solution. It's always the same story. And what they're doing is methodical. It's frankly dastardly evil, whatever word you want to look at or pick here, to issue in a system of maximum control. And that is coming no matter what happens. So that means you, my friends, need to be on the right side of this from every aspect across the board. From a financial standpoint, we couldn't be better off, okay? You and I, we know what we're doing and we know why we're doing it. Okay, period, the end. We're not going to stop. Everything I've outlined for you, everything we've been doing is perfect. We have the ultimate strategy, at least in my opinion, and I would hope you would agree, to beat them at their own game. But then we got to take this to the next step, meaning we need each other. We have to understand that this thing is unfolding in a worst case scenario. The fairy tale is going to end up in a nightmare. So we need to, again, start to establish relationships with the right people. Understand that we need to depend on each other. We're not each other's enemies. You understand? Love each other, care about each other, be charitable, all that stuff. We got this. And in my opinion, we can't be beaten. We're too smart for them. We are honestly and frankly too smart because we know what they want. And they're not done. Everything we've said that they were going to do, they've done from years and years and years ago. And with this FOMO and with this Dow 40,000 and when the freak with his hand up with the big smirk on his face, it should tell you something, that this market has gone absolutely out of control as the world economy craters even further. And the more this goes on, until it doesn't, until after the selection, higher this market's going to go. There's just no doubt about it. All right, people, look, this guy here loves you a lot from the heart. I mean that. Ponder the things I'm talking about. The massive debt buying by the Fed, the China dumping record amounts of debt, the Fed's buying it all. This is what they want to do. Massively currency negative, purchasing power negative. This is going to impact you directly, your lifestyle, your way of life. It already is. Unfortunately, like 71% of you said that this inflationary environment, and we're clearly moving towards an inflationary depression on a grand scale. For some, it's already begun. Some people are still hanging on, but I'm telling you, they're coming right after you. That means you need to take action. All right, people, look, this guy here again loves you from the heart. Please share the video. Get it out there. I will see all of you later for the live stream, 4 or 5 p.m. And until we see each other again, people, take care of yourselves and take care of each other, all right? That's it.